Доброго дня, колеги.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Ukraine Crisis Media Center continues its work. And now, Community Spokespersons program, and together with us is Yuriy Krutko, businessman from Bobrynetska United Community. Yuriy is an entrepreneur in Kirovogradska Oblast, and also he is the member of regional Bobrynetska Council. Welcome on the program. Thank you. So, you do not deal with the matters of administration, but is this decentralization for real? Is it really implemented? Yes, decentralization is on the way, but we face problems because some facilities on the territory of communities, for example, a school, they didn't want to provide it, to transfer this facility, because they wanted to know what will be improved in schools. So our deputies see the situation like this. The majority of communities, they provided these schools into ownership, and also such facilities as house for arts and also sports facilities. They decided they won't transfer this. We will develop it in the villages. We will bring children by buses there. So there was some opposition to this in the United Community, to which Chervona Dolina village joined. So the situation is like this. The city Bobrynetsk is the center of territorial United Community and the center of Bobrynetsky Rayon. And as I understand, there is a conflict. The conflict arises because regional council and the head of the budget commission, sometimes I believe that schools should be provided for ownership, and so their parents had concerns that whether their kids get diplomas, their certificates that they graduated from school, because if they would provide it into ownership and they would adopt the Pluropa law that all the facilities that are in the territory of the city, of the territorial community, that they are in the ownership, then there won't be such a conflict. So legislation is lacking. Many laws concerning territorial communities are not adopted, and that's why the facilities are not transferred. So at the regional level of power create some obstacles to decentralization. We can see some opposition, and you are the deputy of the regional council, and I understand that you have such a problem, but why do you personally support decentralization? Why? I support decentralization because, for example, heads of regional administrations, they were appointed by they are not even local residents. They are appointed by top official, and of course they try to do something, but people, they should be elected and supported by the population of the region. There should be employment created, and people see that people should live and develop their own territory, and we elected our head of our head, and he always supports business, and he says, let's develop business in the community all together. And I believe that there are a lot of prospects. We can consider our budget. Previously, deputies, they were not so active, and now they consider issues more thoroughly. Why money is allocated to, for example, some sports facilities or to road, so they consider the budget, and I believe that we have good prospects here. So you have farming business. So what is it? What is your land plot, and how did decentralization influence farming? I believe that there is still no influence. We wait for the Supreme Council to adopt the law that agricultural lands will be in the ownership of the communities, because land is the main corruption component. We have such an agency as a state cadastre that is that is the most corrupt, and we sign the agreement, and you know that there is corruption in it. Maybe now we have less of it, but still we believe that the community should be able to do this, and community should establish 6%, 10% what you should pay, because they see that residents, locals, they use this land, and they should regulate this issue. You know that there is no law, and we ask that there will be a single flat tax for those who work on land. Some people do not pay taxes at all, and we have fixed tax 130 hryvnias per hectare, and it goes to local authorities, and this helps communities to survive, and half of the land they use this land and do not pay taxes, and in this way state loses and territorial communities also lose. And we raised this question, and we addressed the Supreme Council that there should be a single law and the same rules for using the land for everyone. And what is the number of hectares? 2.5 hectares. And what type? What do you grow? Different cultures: sunflower, soya, buckwheat, corn. So we try to adhere to all the rules. So the taxes that you paid before the community got united, is there change in the amount of tax? And who gets these taxes? Because some went to state budget, some to local government. So they were provided to local authorities, and now they go. This money goes to community, and teachers and doctors, hospitals in the territory of the territorial community. Then United Community has the preference. They got more financing because schools and hospitals are placed in the territory of the city. Due to this, they win. And previously, for the region, it was easier to survive. So now we consider whether we should have two communities or we should unite. So the land that you use, you rent this land. Do I understand correctly? Yes, we lease this land. Maybe 3-4% is state land, and we believe that we believe that community should use this land and should own this land. And sometimes the land is used without any contracts. Does local government know about it? Yes, regional council knows about it, but we cannot do anything. People just negotiate these issues between themselves. For example, some has some land, so they provide it to another person, to some private person, and he uses this land, but he doesn't pay any taxes. But they get less because there is 10,000 for 10,000 for sunflower, for example, and half of land is used without proper documents. So we believe that people should be registered as private entrepreneurs. They should pay all the taxes, and they should have higher cost of sunflower. For example, not 8,000, but 10,000 hryvnias. In our region, 200,000 hryvnias. And if this money goes to the community, to the region, that would be great for our region. But no one in the Supreme Council pays attention to this problem. Everyone knows, but no one wants to deal with it. Of course, people want to survive, but they should be registered as entrepreneurs, and they can, in this way, get better conditions, and they can get higher payments for this, but no one wants to deal with these problems. A little bit about figures, more optimistic maybe. I have in my hands a research about the budget of the United Territorial Community 2015 in comparison with the first half year of 2016, and in Bobrynetska region, land tax increased 140%, so 400,000 more. Excise 1,450,000, and on the whole, the revenue of Bobrynetska community compared with the 2015 revenue by two councils, Bobrynetska and Tusko and Czerwone Dubny, increased 3 times, or maybe even 4 times. So you, as the member of this community, have you seen some visible changes? So what it led to? So our teachers in the United Community, they get 20% rise for their work, and in the region we do not have such additional money to increase their salaries 20%. And in such a way, there is a conflict between United Territorial Community teachers and Bobrynetska and regional teachers. There is a conflict because in the village they get 20% less. They get just flat salary, and in the United Community they get 20% more. So this was the decision of the community to pay to their teachers 20% more. And this was made by deputies and the head of United Territorial Community. He said that I will pay more, so please let's do it. And there was a conflict between the teachers because of this. Is this a motivation for those people who are in Bobrynetska region outside United Territorial Community to move along the way of decentralization? Maybe it is good for teachers if it is really affects their salary. And every person wants to get 20% more, maybe even 30% more. And teachers in villages, they are afraid that they will lose their jobs because this unification will lead to reduction of schools, that their number decreases, and there are some schools that are lacking students, and these teachers, they're afraid that these schools in the villages will be closed down, and that's why the situation is rather tense. And what can you say to people who express these concerns? Is this really the case? Can it happen? I believe this is not the case. I think that in future there will be some payment per student, and we have 30,000 per students, and in the city 6,000 per student. And if the government adopts the decision that there will be some for a student, so maybe the additional money can be paid by local budgets. If there is money in the local councils or in the regions, if they have this money, so they can pay. And our deputies, they are concerned because they lack these funds and they won't be able to pay this additional money. And for example, people bring children to schools and they bring it to, we believe that we should increase the quality of education. And you know that some people, they bring children to the city because they want that their children get better education. And what about other changes that citizens can see? So there are some repairs of a school, and now it is transformed into the some center, cultural center for children. We invite children from town and former and there was some sort of conflict. And but now they started to develop sports and culture, and there are 130 children who come in the town. And you know that conflict, it usually produces also some positive results. And you as an entrepreneur, maybe you address to some administrative services to is it easier to get some permits? Yes, there is a single window. You can get all necessary documents, so there's no such a problem. It's not big. So this is the Center of Administrative Services, right? Yes, the center exists. Maybe it's not very beautiful as in Georgia, for example, but it exists. And what is the main challenge for Bobrynetski community? Because you're a resident there, so you know the problems. Because at the level of the state, at the level of the government does not explain to people what decentralization means. The teachers, even, they don't understand what it is. And in the town, people say we lived as a single region, so maybe we should live like this further. So whether we should get united, people wait for these changes in legislation. So they believe that there should be proper land law, and also people say that there should be ownership established, and Kirovogradska Oblast and other united communities, some facilities, some schools and cultural centers for kids, they were provided into the property of the community, and there are many conflicts like this throughout Ukraine. And as a farmer, what is the number one challenge for you that could be solved in the process of decentralization? What do you mean? I mean the influence of decentralization. maybe there are instruments in the process of decentralization how to solve your problems. Number one problem is taxes, because we had fixed tax. We paid 100 hryvnias. Now it is 230 hryvnias. We had the special account on VAT, and we could transfer money for some oil lubricants and some seeds, and now we have 50% of this VAT. And if it is livestock breeding is 50/50, and we need to pay a lot of VAT, and we are ready to pay, and it's about 1,000 per hectare, and it is easier to pay this 1,000 per hectare to leave 50% in the region, and community could develop in such a way, and 50% would go to the state budget, or 25% to the state budget, and the 25% to the region. People want to see where the money goes, and we see that there is corruption component. You know that exporters, they suffer from VAT refund process, and everyone says that VAT is the most corrupt tax in our country. So we believe that it should be removed, and let's do it as it was before. We want to develop, and for example, that we could use this VAT for some establishment of some processing facilities, and this law, it brings us down, and for the next year we will pay revenue tax, and life becomes more difficult for us. And the south of Kirovograd Oblast, there is some droughts, and this year was good harvest, and we can pay this year, but sometimes you just pay and you work and you get zero, or even you are in the negative. So you stated in the so that people lack information about decentralization. People do not understand what decision should be taken. That's why we hold such meetings as this meeting that is called Communities Spokespersons. And can you please tell us about the moment when you decided for yourself that you will support this reform, that you will get involved? Where did you get the information in order to make such conclusion? At the first stage, I didn't join. I just wanted to see what will happen. Then I understood that the state supports decentralization, and we were provided 5 million hryvnias from the Fund of Development, and of course we need this money. And maybe a school will be repaired, and Center for Children will be repaired, and the Dobra Foundation also joins, and they say that they will help us in infrastructure projects. So life should become better, and people join, and they want to help. They want to help and provide something for the future of their children. So we should have more responsibilities, of more money in the budget. Previously, deputies just raised their hands, and now they really consider these issues, and we see the transparency of the budget, and everyone knows that, for example, a square meter of asphalt costs 150 hryvnias. So we know that it will be done in a proper way, and locally the transparency is better seen by people, how it works. And about activity of residents, whether people understand that there is more money in the community, and is civil activity on the increase. Yes, I believe that it is on the increase, maybe because new deputies were elected, but we believe that the deputies are more active and the people are also more active, and we believe that in the united community, people are even more active. And you said about Dobra program. As I understand, Bobrynetska community became the partner of Dobra program. Could you please tell us about what are your expectations from this program and what are the plans? And we had the plans. We had some hearings and the community expressed what people wanted. You know, the quality of water in our community is not good, and there is some odor and even some color, and we need a lot of money to repair water supply system. So after discussions, also we said that decided that we should have some sports facilities, for example, basketball, volleyball facilities. We brought children for some contests, for competitions, and I jog, and for example, 10 people can play on one side, and for example, if there are 30 people, so there is a lack of space. So we need more space, and for example, we need more facilities for sports, and I'm ready to allocate some money. And of course, we want that such projects as Dobra, that they would help us in such projects. Thank you. You have good plans, and we wish that they come true, and that Bobrynetska community and on the whole in Kirovogradshina, we hope there won't be any conflicts, and the opportunities created by centralization, they should flourish. And we thank you for being with us today. Thank you very much, and goodbye.